Hello, everyone. It is Rolo, and I am finally back after a much needed break with family over this Memorial Day weekend. And I'm here to discuss not the story that everyone else is discussing in the Trump trial, which has just gone into jury deliberations. I really have nothing else to add on that. I am not a legal expert. And I've always thought that we just need to play the waiting game for any of these cases. You know how I feel about them. So I really have nothing else to say that you haven't heard anywhere else. But I did want to bring this story to you, which I think in many ways is more important, which is pointing out how much land the Chinese Communist Party and its satellites and proxies have purchased within the United States. So today I bring you from the Daily Mail an exclusive, how Republican Ashley Hinson's farm bill provision could stop China's buyout of U.S. farmland, as it's revealed that the communist adversary has bought 347,000 acres. Representative Ashley Hinson told the Daily Mail why it's such a big win for the U.S. The upcoming farm bill will contain measures to restrict foreign entities like China from scooping up American farmland, in a big win for national security. A Republican who helped secure the provisions told DailyMail.com. Foreign entities own a total of 40 million acres of U.S. farmland, and China has bought up nearly 347,000 acres, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Now lawmakers are working to further restrict China and other adversaries from snatching up coveted land in the fiscal year 2024 Farm Bill. Representative Ashley Hinson, a Republican from Iowa who represents a heavy agricultural district, says it's critical to stop China in order to protect the U.S. food supply chains and bolster national security. Quote, communist China should not be allowed to buy another acre of American farmland, nor should we rely upon our top foreign adversary for key parts of our food supply, end quote, Hinson exclusively told DailyMail.com. And here you can see what states China owns some farmland. It goes a little bit deeper than that. In case you have not known, a lot of countries from the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and others, obviously China and Russia, have been purchasing up land in the U.S. I know a lot of people are concerned about major corporations that have been doing that. So we really should be equally or even more concerned when countries that really don't have our best interests at heart are doing the same thing to either monitor the United States or monitor U.S. installations or prevent us from being able to use that land for ourselves. This is where I will basically completely diverge from most libertarian and free market people, because I do think that we have reached the point where the U.S. should really start seizing these lands, especially if we know that it is the CCP or their proxies. We know that these countries would have no qualms about doing the same thing with American interests overseas. And I am all about reciprocal business. That's the way that it works. I don't really care what rights we as American citizens have. Foreign entities should not have those same rights. This land should go to Americans first. And if a country is a threat to us, then we should boot them out. Plain and simple. I really have no qualms about it. It bothers me not. I know using the government to push things and be heavy-handed is something that we don't enjoy. There's really no other entity that we have here unless we sell them to private businesses and allow them to do this. But either way, this has got to go. The Chinese land purchases near important U.S. military installations have been a particular concern for lawmakers and government officials. In 2022, for example, the China-based food producer Fufeng Group acquired 300 acres of land in Grand Forks, just 20 minutes down the road from the Grand Forks Air Base, where some of the nation's most sensitive drone technology is based. Air Force Major Jeremy Fox wrote a memo that year characterizing the move as being emblematic of Chinese efforts to install themselves close to sensitive U.S. installations. He argued that the Fufeng Group is located at the right location for the company to intercept communications coming from the Air Force Base. Now lawmakers are moving to crack down on such instances using the Farm Bill. One of the wins Hinson says will be in the bill are reforms to the Agricultural Foreign Investment Disclosure Act, AFIDA, or FAIDA. Those improvements would help the government more easily track foreign entities' purchases of U.S. agricultural land. It will also now mandate minimum penalties on individuals who intentionally submit false AFITA filings. As highlighted by the January GAO Government Accountability Office report, previously the USDA tracked foreign agricultural land purchases using paper forms. Now the Farm Bill includes language to create an online submission form where the USDA can better track submissions. And in the photo here, you can see a representation of where that airbase is and the land that was purchased by this Fufeng group. And here's how many acres in thousands that China has across the U.S. And this is Representative Hinson herself. The measure will also require the USDA to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, to ensure timely data sharing of international land purchases. CFIUS is an interagency committee dedicated to reviewing the implications of foreign investment into the U.S., and they work closely with the intelligence community to ensure the integrity of such deals don't present national security threats. The new House Farm Bill would also establish a position dedicated to auditing and overseeing activities related to a FITA called the Chief Operations of Investigative Actions, which will report to CFIUS land acquisitions that could pose a threat to national security. Hinson, who sits on the House China Select Committee, helped ensure that reports of agricultural land buys by citizens or entities with ties to China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, or other state sponsors of terrorism identify potential threats to the United States. The Farm Bill also includes language from Hinson securing American Agriculture Act, which would reshore the production of vitamins and ingredients necessary for livestock and agricultural production. Much of the recourses rely on Chinese supply lines to maintain, which the Iowans has said poses risks to the U.S. The current version of the bill passed through the House Committee on Agriculture 33-21 last week. And here we see a representation of land purchases by foreign adversaries of the United States, including all of this in Texas alone. Chairman of the committee, Glenn Thompson, a Republican from Pennsylvania, celebrated the bill's passage through committee with bipartisan support, saying in a statement last week, "Great things can be accomplished when you don't surround yourself with red lines, and I am eager to continue our work with whom wants to come to the table." Hinson also celebrated the committee's approval. "I was proud with Chairman Thompson to ensure initiatives to reshore our food supply chain and prevent communist China from buying our land, including were included in the House Farm Bill. Food security is national security, and this Farm Bill bolsters it." You know, one of the big concerns that we have, especially as China shows more provocative behavior against Taiwan, is if we're pulled into a conflict with China, how much land and critical infrastructure in the U.S. do they have access to? Are they close to? How many Chinese nationals have gone through the border illegally? We know that border crossings have increased with all demographics, but we've seen more individuals from China and the Middle East, which could pose a threat of sleeper cells and the like. I mean, it really isn't far-fetched to believe that China has assets within the U.S. that are ready to go at a moment's notice in case a hot war breaks out. The vast majority of pharmaceuticals and drugs that we rely on, that many Americans rely on to survive, are produced in China, and that's something else that could be cut off. So bringing these industries back is extremely important, and putting a heavy price on China doing business in the U.S. and trying to purchase land or other assets is extremely important. Again, I am all about the free market. China is not a free market society. They constantly throw this in our face and try to basically almost confuse us. They use our own altruism and our own system against ourselves, and that's something that we can't be naive about. Obviously, I'm all about those principles. I don't want government interference where possible, but at the end of the day, we have bad actors that are willing to destroy this country, and there's something that we need to do about it. And I think that this bill is, in my opinion, it's not even enough. I think that we should get to the point where maybe during a conflict we'll do it. It may be too late, where we need to start seizing some of these assets from China. And I really don't care what the consequences are to American companies, because we know that any time that an American company goes to China. We have to give up our IP. The Chinese Communist Party installs one of their members to oversee operations, and we are losing out on our own technology because we want cheap products built by borderline slave labor. That's essentially what we want here in the United States, and it is time for us to make some sacrifices. And I get it, the economy is bad, but that is no excuse to not try to reshore those companies and bring products back to the United States and really make it all about America first. I am Rolo. You can catch me every day making daily videos here, usually around midday. And this Sunday, after a bit of a delay, hopefully we'll be back live for Rolo's Rants episode 18. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.